All right, man. Talk Nation, man. We are back. Building. Back at it. Give Talk Nation a chance to get up in here. BENN versus jaronennis. Give everybody a second, man, before we get started. Matter of fact,
become the oldest fighter to win a world welterweight title. Amazing accomplishment that I never thought I would accomplish. But know that God is good all the time. That's why I gave all glory to God.
All right, man. Welcome back, man. We're about to get right into it, man. It's getting real interesting in the welterweight division, man. Keith Thurman is talking. BENN is talking. But between the two, the only one that seems like a fight could come out of what they talk about is possibly BENN. According to boxingtraining, Keith one-time Thurman has priced himself out of a possible jaronennis fight, stating that he wants approximately $10 million to fight jaronbootsennis, which is crazy. Keith Thurman just came back to the division. He had one fight versus Mario Barrios. Did you get that when you fought Mario Barrios? Did you get half of that when you fought Mario Barrios? So why do you feel as though you need $10 million to fight jaronbootsennis? Because possibly, told y'all this before, jaronbootsennis could possibly retire Keith one-time Thurman. Keith one-time Thurman is working towards his retirement plan. He's working towards his retirement plan. Successful career, most certainly. Keith Thurman has been highly successful in his career, former champion, and beat some of the top competitors in the game. But also, he lost to Manny Pacquiao. And a lot of people thought that, you know what, he should have beat Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman was younger, supposedly stronger than Manny Pacquiao, but he got hurt multiple times in that fight by Manny Pacquiao. He got dropped by Manny Pacquiao. Come on, man. Can't sleep on Manny Pacquiao. Matter of fact, shout out to the senator. You know what I mean? I wasn't happy when he chose to retire. I felt as though Manny Pacquiao probably still had another fight or two left in him. But back to Keith Thurman. If you want $10 million to fight jaronbootsennis, you need to fight. I mean, you need to sign some type of 2-fight deal or something like that, 3-fight deal. Because I don't believe that Keith Thurman deserves $10 million fighting jaronbootsennis. He should get paid. But you just came back to the division. You want that $10 million based off of your name alone. And Keith Thurman does have a name. But at this point in the game, your name isn't worth $10 million. It ain't worth $10 million. You're considered possibly top 5 because of your position, your name, and the rankings of everybody in the top 10 as far as the welterweight division. Because Sean Porter left. Because Errol Spence and Crawford are pound for pound number 1. We all know that Virgil Ortiz, jaronbootsennis, these two are fighting for that number 3 spot as far as the welterweight division. So Keith Thurman can squeeze in possibly at number 5. Now that takes us to BENN. BENN, from the homework that I did so far, I mean, Conor Benn is a problem. And Conor Benn facing Jaronbootsennis moving forward, I believe that's going to be a hell of a fight. That can be a hell of a fight for Jaronbootsennis. He's an aggressive puncher, has quick feet, has good movement, and I believe that he's improving as his fights go on. Now, looking at the Van Heerden fight and the Chris Algieri fight, um, to be honest with you, man, like Van Heerden, I mean, from the start of the fight, he seemed like he was scared. He seemed like he was scared. You know what I mean? His shots were kind of muffled. The announcers were saying his shots look crisp, but his shots didn't look crisp. I mean, he looked real sketchy. His legs was real stiff. He wasn't fluid at all. He was real timid. You can tell that he was afraid of being hit and hurt by the younger Conor Benn. And ultimately, Conor Benn wound up, you know what I mean, stopping him and knocking him out. I believe it was the second round. Now, Chris Algieri, veteran, has faced some names in the game, but Chris Algieri himself, he wasn't ready for Conor Benn. Conor Benn kind of embarrassed Chris Algieri. So putting Conor Benn on the stage of a Jaronbootsennis, I feel as though it is time. That'll be a great fight for Jaronbootsennis stylistically. And here's the thing. Some people may agree, some people may not agree. Now, Conor Benn, if Boots decided to fight Conor Benn in the UK, not only will that open up a market for Jaronbootsennis in the UK, but that will pretty much, in my opinion, solidify Jaronbootsennis as a viable top tier welterweight contender. Because when you look at the threats in the welterweight division, besides Crawford and Spence, besides Jaronbootsennis, the most viable threats in that division will probably be Conor Benn, Ugas, and probably Stanionis. Now, being as though Ugas has been on the shelf ever since his fight with Errol Spence, possibly still healing up, maybe waiting for the right payday, which I believe, as we talked about before, Jaronbootsennis, that'll be a great fight for Ugas, especially for him to get back into the ring. Dangerous, yes. Can he be hurt? Yes. Matter of fact, most likely he will be hurt. But how far do you want to go back if you're Dennis Ugas? You don't want to fight. I mean, some Joe Blow guy that nobody has ever heard of, and you just came off of facing the possible top competitor in the welterweight division. You don't want to fight a bum. You want to fight somebody who has the name. And Jaronbootsennis will be a great fight. And probably, as far as step ups, the most challenging step up so far. Everybody else, they talk about step up, step up, step up, step up. But these guys aren't step ups. Now, Conor Benn, although he's also young and up and coming, I believe stylistically, as far as difficulty, I believe he will also be a challenge for Jaronbootsennis. He has a nice right hand, a nice left hook. Like I said, he's tough. He's mobile. And although he's an aggressive puncher, Conor Benn is also slick. So you can't sleep on Conor Benn at all. Him versus Jaronbootsennis will be a fantastic fight, And I believe the winner of that fight, I'm not going to say they'll be able to write their own ticket, but they cannot be denied. And especially if Jaronbootsennis, he goes to the UK and he faces Conor Benn and is successful, that opens up a vast market for Jaronbootsennis, a vast market. UK fans are some of the best fight fans in the business, and they will let you know. And I believe that they will embrace Jaronbootsennis once they see his skill set, what he brings to the table. That'll be a great fight. That'll be a great fight. And don't be surprised if Eddie Hearn, if he hasn't already, try to steal Jaronbootsennis from Stephen Espinosa and Showtime. Floyd Mayweather already looked at Jaronbootsennis. You heard Leonard Ellerby say, who the hell is this Jaron and this guy? Like, the world knows who Jaronbootsennis is. the major players in the game know who Jaronbootsennis is. It's getting very hard to say, okay, I don't know who this guy is. Keith Thurman, he talked about he didn't know who Boots was. Now Keith Thurman talked about he didn't know who Conor Ben was when he interviewed with Marcos Villegas, excuse me. He said that he had to Google Conor Ben. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like Conor Ben is a name in the sport. He is also a threat in the division. So you can't, this is your Keith Thurman. You can't talk about you don't know this guy when he's one of the top competitors in the welterweight division. You can't. Hey man, welcome to the podcast, my brother, my sister, whoever you are. Please smash that like button on your way in. You know what I mean? I appreciate you 100%. We talking Boots, we talking Ben, we talking Thurman versus the world. Smash that like button. You know what I mean? Really appreciate it. And if you have any thoughts, hey man, let's start filling those comments up. What you guys feel about Boots versus Conor Ben? Keith Thurman has priced himself out of the quote unquote Jaronbootsennis running. He wanted $10 million to fight Jaronbootsennis. I believe that's bullshit. I mean, Keith Thurman, he just came back to the division. His last fight was with Mario Barrios. You didn't get that when you fought Barrios. Why would you want $10 million to fight Jaronbootsennis? So what do you guys think about that? My bad though, boy. I mean, I didn't even you know what I'm saying? This is my first stream doing this shit on StreamYard. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even know that you put a comment, you know what I'm saying? He said facts. And also Doughboy said if Jaronennis face Conor Ben in the UK, it will be big for Team Ennis. Yes, it would be big for Team Ennis. And boxingtraining pop, he was like, look, and when I seen this today, that shit kind of pissed me off because Keith Thurman, he keep on talking about these young guys. He's not a gatekeeper and all this shit. But at the same time, why aren't you stepping up and fighting these guys? Why are you pricing yourself out of fights? You know what I mean? Like Keith Thurman is working on his retirement plan. I don't care what you say. I'm now convinced that Keith Thurman is working on his retirement plan. Like he's trying to get his paper right. So when he walks away from the sport of boxing, possibly he don't want to come back because the welterweight division is starting to look dangerous out there. He's talking about going to 154. Guess what? 154 got some killers too. You know what I mean? So if he went up to 154 to fight Danny Garcia, that'd be a great fight. Danny Garcia wants that fight. Keith Thurman said he wouldn't mind moving up to get that fight. Okay, so make that happen. But if you're still talking about the 147-pound division, the fights that are there for you right now are Jaronbootsennis, are Conor Ben. You're not going to fight Errol Spence. Errol Spence said that he ain't trying to fight you. So talking about fighting Errol Spence, even though the WBC ranked Keith Thurman is #1, it's still bullshit. They'll find a way to get up out of that. Chancellor Crawford, right now, he's tied up with Errol Spence. So you can't say that you're trying to fight him. And Virgil Ortiz just became his mandatory. Steven Espinosa did send him a contract because Espinosa said that Keith Thurman wants too much money. Exactly. You know what I mean? So he talking about, Keith Thurman talking about sending contracts and all this kind of shit, you know what I mean? But when a contract is sent, you want to price yourself out. You know what I mean? And first of all, even though you're the name, this is Keith Thurman, people truly want to see Jaronbootsennis. They just want to see you, this is Keith Thurman, fight Jaronbootsennis. But Jaronbootsennis, even though Keith Thurman is the name, Jaronbootsennis is the attraction in a Keith Thurman versus Ennis fight. And I think that's hard for Keith Thurman. So, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for that shit to sink in. You know what I mean? That even though he's the veteran, even though he's a former champion, even though he has faced some names in the sport and some Hall of Famers, he doesn't see himself being the B-side. But in my opinion, people want to see Keith Thurman fight Jaronennis as far as his name. Also because Keith Thurman still does have skills and ability. But best believe it, Jaronbootsennis is the main attraction. He is the one that people want to see versus Keith Thurman in a fight. And consequently, to some degree, Boots is gonna be the fucking A side. So if you Keith Thurman, hey man, you have to humble yourself. And you talking about 10 million, 10 fucking million? Come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't know because I haven't heard, and they probably didn't stipulate that shit. You know what I mean? Because Steven Espinosa he don't generally do that, throw figures out there. But if he threw a figure at Keith Thurman, I'm sure he probably threw a figure at Keith Thurman anywhere from, I would say, 3 to 5 million. Because Boots for that fight probably won't get more than, um, especially a fight of that caliber. I would say anywhere from possibly 2 to 3 at the least. If it's more, that's lovely. But I would say between 2 to 3 million. You know what I mean? This is for Jaronbootsennis because of Keith Thurman, excuse me, his name and everything, what he has done in his career, what he brings to the fight as far as the possible ticket. They will probably give him, this is Showtime and company, anywhere from, you know what I'm saying, possibly, you know what I mean, 4 to 5 million. And I think that's fair because Jaronbootsennis, if you're making, you know what I mean, anywhere from $2 to $3 million more than, I mean, your opponent, depending upon who you are, I mean, I think that's fair. Now, if Keith Thurman was facing Errol Spence or Terence Crawford, do you think that Errol Spence or Terence Crawford will give Keith Thurman 10 million? Hell no. Especially Errol Spence. I mean, I could see Errol Spence laughing in Keith Thurman's face if he talked about some 10 million fucking dollars. Especially after all the shit that Keith Thurman talked and Spence already said, you know what? I ain't fucking with you. I meant what I said, and I'm basically standing on that shit. You know what I mean? When you were a champion, and I was a young pup, and I was trying to come at you, or I was trying to get a fight, and Errol wasn't even disrespectful about it. He just wanted that smoke. He ain't giving the time of day. This is Keith Thurman. Now the Errol Spence is in that position, and Keith Thurman is basically trying to get the maximum amount of dollars from these high level fights because he's working on that Keith Thurman retirement plan and you're not going to be able to get the fights you want, guess what? You're going to have to take the fights you can get. And right now at 147, as I said, it's Jaronbootsennis, Stanionis. I've never heard anybody mention Ugas' name one time. Trayshawn Edwards, what up, my guy? What's going on? What's going on, my brother? You know what I'm saying? This is my first time doing this shit on the StreamYard platform, you know what I'm saying? So man, just smash that like button for a brother, man. You know what I mean? You already know. Doughboy says, I think running time, Thurman is running out of options. You know what I mean? And he most certainly is, you know what I mean, running out of options. And that's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point, man. Keith Thurman at this stage of the game is fucking, I mean, he's getting older. He's getting fucking older, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and these guys are getting, I mean, they're young. Boots is 25. You know what I'm saying? Virgil is like, 20, I forgot how old Virgil, but Virgil in his fucking early 20s. You know what I'm saying? Kind of Ben, he's in his fucking 20s. These new guys are the future of the division. And Sean Porter already left. Bud and Terence Crawford, these motherfuckers are trying to work their shit out so they can fight. And after they fight, I told y'all before, they can possibly have a trilogy. You know what I mean? But matter of fact, while y'all in here, I'm gonna let y'all hear what Connor Ben said about Keith Thurman. Check this out, y'all.
Thurman's like, he may as well retire. He's standing here fighting, no crop coming through, but yeah, wants the big names. Obviously, I mean, listen, I'll probably say I'm one of the biggest names in the welterweight division. Definitely for an earner anyway, so the fact that you don't want to take that fight surprises me a little bit, but obviously I risk reward with me, he don't see it right.
Now, that is what Connor Ben had to say about Keith Thurman. It's risk versus reward. You know what I mean? It is risk versus reward. You're not going to get the money that you're looking for in the risk. He most certainly isn't looking for. This is Keith Thurman. Because Keith Thurman, especially like I said with the body attack, Come on, man. You know what I mean? And like, and everybody knows that Keith Thurman is sweet to the body. And these young dudes are very talented and are aggressive. Boots is aggressive, Virgil and Connor Ben and Stanionis. So if you fight any of those names, they're going to pressure you. They're going to put hands on you. And if they notice you sweet in the body, they are going to fuck you up. This is Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? But here's thoughts also on the top 10, because a lot of people, and I also said this shit too, some of these guys are afraid to fight certain fighters because of risk versus reward. Now, here's what Conor Ben had to say about the top 10 of the welterweight division.
He's a good fighter, man. Everyone top 5, top 10 is all great fighters, every single one. Just some bigger names than others, some bigger paydays than others. Some have higher rewards and less risk. Some have the same risks but a lot higher reward. So those are the fights you want to try and make.
Exactly. Now, in my opinion, I agree with him. The fights that are high risk and low reward, I mean, those are the fights you want to make. You're not going to be able to maximize your dollar in every fucking fight. So what does that? So what does that mean? You're going to fight C-level fighters? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So Keith Thurman at this stage of his career, if you are in the welterweight division, who are you fucking with? Take Bud, take Spence out of it, and you look at everybody else as far as the pecking order in the 147-pound division. If you're Keith one-time Thurman, who are you fucking with? Who can you fuck with? Now I give Keith Thurman a fighting chance against anybody in the welterweight division. Anybody, give him a fighting chance. But at the same time, you have to be realistic and you got to be honest, because guess what? Those guys can fuck him up. We got some comments here. Doughboy, I think running. No, read that already. I told y'all Blair was going to get him out of there. What's up? What's up, Trey? Yeah, it's funny about you know what, man. So let's put that up there real quick. Since Trey was talking about Blair Flair, man, y'all know how I felt about Blair Cosman. I told you, and he had to show me something in order for me to even think about Blair Cos because of his last performance. Now, the way that he took care of Mo Hooker, you know what I mean? Like, I was somewhat impressed. You know what I mean? He did look better than he looked in his last fight, by far. So Blair, but here's the question. And being as though you was rocking with Blair Flair, you know what I'm saying? Blair the Flair. What do you think that Blair the Flair Cobbs can do moving forward? Who do you think Blair Cobbs is fucking with at 147? Who do you see him fighting next? Do you think he's ready for the top 5? Or, because I don't think he's ready for the top guys yet. I don't think he's going to get that opportunity. So it's no point to even talking about that. But as far as, I would say 5 to 10, Blair the Flair Cobbs could possibly, I would say, why not put him in there with Speedy Rashidi? Somebody like that. They're already talking about Stanionis possibly fighting Boots. So I don't know if he'll be able to get that fight. Keith might as well fight Blair or Bootseadores. I didn't Blair ready for any top 5. Damn, boy. You know what I'm saying? Trey got a lot of faith in Blair Cobbs, man. You know what I mean? Okay, but you know what? I respect that, because not only you respect his skill, but you see something in him possibly that everybody else, well, I ain't gonna say well everybody, but some people may not see, and I respect that. I respect that. In the top 5, I honestly don't think that he's ready for. Well, depending upon how the top 5, because the top 5 now is a little bit different with Danny Garcia leaving and Sean Porter. So who do you have at number 4 and number 5? So that's probably, I guess, the question. But I don't think he's ready for Crawford. I don't think he's ready for Spence. And jaronbootsennis stops him. And Virgil Ortiz, I think even Virgil Ortiz will stop or not Blair Cobbs out. So, I mean, who do you got at number 5? What, probably Thurman? I think that'd be an interesting fight. But Thurman can knock off Blair Cobbs. And Stanionis, he's aggressive. And I think he's strong enough to disrupt and possibly hurt Blair Cobbs. And I think Conor Benn, he destroys Blair Cobbs. But he can catch somebody in that 6 to 10 range. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So within that 6 to 10 range, you know what I mean? Who you think that he's going to be fucking with? That is the question. Like I said, the first person, and the reason why I said Speedy Rashidi is because, you know what I mean? Like, I know that he's in there, possibly down there, and he's new to the PBC. So him being new to the PBC, and I'm trying to, you know what I mean? I guess in the matchmaker, trying to get him viable fights so he can elevate if they see a potential future in him in the 147-pound division. I think Blair Flair will be a good fight for him to get in there because he's so charismatic. He talk a lot of shit. You know what I mean? He can most certainly, you know what I mean, build up and sell a fight. So Blair Cobbs will be, no, Blair has to go on a winning streak. Now, see, I'm kind of with Doughboy on that shit. You know what I mean? Like Blair, he lost a fight. He came back against Mo Hooker, and he came back against a Mo Hooker who was overweight. He came in at $150. You know what I mean? And this is the part that fucks me up because he was training with Bo Mack and Terence Crawford. So he's training with Bo Mack and Terence Crawford. So I don't understand like where was his discipline at? You know what I mean? So it's like I had to ask myself, I was like, okay, so was he doing that shit for the bag? Was this a paycheck? Or did he underestimate Blair Cobbs? He knew Blair Cobbs how he looked in his last fight. And I believe for this fight, because he got rid of Freddie Roach and for what I understand, Blair Cobbs, he got Fernando Vargas' brother to train him for, you know what I mean, the Mo Hooker fight. Bo Mack sucks as a trainer. I don't know, man. You know what I mean? I can't say Bo Mack sucks. You know what I mean? But I know one thing as a fucking trainer, man. You know what I mean? Like he need to take a page out of Derek James' book, and he needs to start, getting in shape because I don't see how you can have, and be honest with you, a fighter on the level of Terence Crawford. He pretty much at this point of the game is training himself. You know what I mean? As a coach, the information that you give Terence Crawford for him to download is mental. So physically, at this state of the game, you know what I mean? Like Terence Crawford is pretty much training himself. You know what I mean? And like I said, the rest of the coaches also have their input into his development, you know what I mean, and certain training protocols and procedures and all that shit. But as far as Bo Mack, I mean, Errol Spence, he said that shit the best. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude, I mean, when he showed Bo Mack record, first of all, that shit was hilarious. You know what I mean? Because he didn't excel as a fighter. But sometimes some people are better trainers, you know what I mean, than fighters. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? Derek James was a decent fighter, but he's a hell of a coach. You know what I mean? So everybody doesn't have the same path as far as transitioning from a fighter, you know what I mean, to a head coach. But I respect Derek James not only because he's highly talented as a trainer, but he just doesn't talk that shit and want his fighters, you know what I mean, to get out there and bust their ass for him. He also gets in the trenches and he works out and he runs, you know what I mean? So he doesn't just tell his fighters to give him 110%. He also gives them 110%. All his fighters lost except Bud and Keyshawn. Yeah, a fighter don't get credit, but he is the real deal. Gary Anton Russell. Yeah, we was talking about Gary Antoine Russell yesterday. What to talk about? I'll get back to that question in a minute, Trey. But we was talking about Gary Antoine Russell yesterday, and he'll get his credit. Number one, he's young, and he has to get out of that. Yeah, he got to get out of his brother's shadow. So as he keeps on fighting and keep on racking up the wins, he get a couple of knockouts under his belt. You know what I mean? And most importantly, if he shows improvement from fight to fight, then Gary Antoine Russell is going to be just fine, especially if his brother, you know what I mean, comes back to the game. And if he doesn't look like his old self, then in my opinion, that's giving, you know what I'm saying, his brother pretty much the spotlight as far as the Russell tree. But right now, he's still in his brother's shadow. And unfortunately, he will be there until his brother fights again and we see how he looked. And like I said, Gary Antoine has to continue to win. Gary Antoine Russell is a bad boy. Yeah, he is a bad boy. You know what I'm saying? But he's young, he's learning, and he's getting better. So as long as he just keeps on and continue to improve, and like I said, you know what I mean, have fantastic performances and fantastic finishes, Gary Antoine Russell will be the future, man. You know what I mean? He has what it takes. Like I said, he comes from, you know what I'm saying, a boxing pedigree. You know what I mean? So he will be just fine, man. You know what I mean? He'll be just fine. But as far as the, you know what I mean, what Trey was talking about, all Bomac fighters have lost except Bud and Keyshawn. I mean, that just proves my point. Bud Crawford and Keyshawn Davis, their talent level, I mean, it pretty much speaks for itself. You know, I mean, you have fighters that are naturally God gifted, whether it's with speed, whether it's with talent, or whether it's with power. And when you have fighters who are naturally God gifted like that, a trainer, he just has to cultivate what they already have. You know what I mean? Look what Customato did with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson already had the ability. He, you know what I'm saying? He just had to get refined. You know what I mean? So Customato just had to chisel away all those rough edges. You know what I mean? And then he turned Mike Tyson into the fighter, you know what I mean, that he was and shit still is. Because, you know what I'm saying, Mike Tyson, he's still fucking fighting in one form or another. So Bomac just a motivational coach now. Bud is the trainer. I have to fucking agree. You know, well, and Bomac is also the team chef. You know what I mean? That's why his fucking ass is so big and shit. You know what I mean? Because he's also, you know what I'm saying, the team chef, you know what I mean? So he does wear a couple of hats within the team. But like I said, man, like what are you bringing to the table? What can you teach Bud Crawford at this point? And Keyshawn Davis, I mean, he, I mean, Olympian. He has a very, you know what I'm saying, bright career ahead of him, you know what I'm saying, with Top Rank. And he's another young brother, man. You know what I mean? Like his skill set is he's God gifted. He's God gifted. I mean, and it doesn't take much for him to learn, to improve. And any trainer, I would say, especially any top 10 trainer, you know what I mean? They can, you know what I'm saying, they can bring him along. So Bomac, what does he bring to the table? I really don't see it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I mean, and I hate to say it because it may seem like I'm being objective or, you know what I'm saying, or like hating on the brother, man, a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, his weight, by him being so big and shit like that, I think that's that's not a good look. Because like I said, you got Derrick James, this motherfucker be running miles and shit. You know what I mean? Like what he expects for his fighters, you should be willing to do the same thing. Just like Jaronennis pop, boxeadores. Bozy, he's the kind of coach and trainer, you know what I'm saying? He'll get in the ring and he can fucking show you. And it takes some type of physical aptitude, you know what I'm saying, and well-being for you to be able to do that shit. Um, Trey said, nothing but just yelling, get to him first. Let's go, baby. You know what I mean? I don't know what you mean. But like I said, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have to be able to step in the ring and show your fighters what you are talking about, especially when you have young fighters who are still I'm not gonna say who are still in the developmental stage, you know what I'm saying? You look at um like Coach Kenny, Coach Calvin, and all of them. You know what I'm saying? Tank Davis, you know what I'm saying? Coaching team. These guys are still training and coaching and developing young fighters. And if these guys are out of shape, you know what I mean? Like, how can they get into the ring and show these young kids what to do and how to develop and how to progress and grow as a fighter if they can't even catch their fucking breath? You know what I mean? So that's why Bomac, like he's really going to have to, you know what I'm saying, get his shit together. You know what I mean? Because if Bud Crawford leaves Bomac today or tomorrow, I mean, I think he'll be finished as a coach. He didn't coach them through the fights. That's the only words Bomac yelled to his fighters. Um, you say that's the only words he yelled to him. What is that? What do he say to him? Because like I said, man, like fighters like Bud, like what can you tell Bud Crawford? You know what I mean? Because Bud is as smart as his coaches, all of them, all of them. And to be honest with you, and quite frank, the reason why Bud coaches are still around is because they've been around him and with him since he was young. So it's a respect and it's a loyalty thing, you know what I'm saying, for Bud Crawford and his coaches. Now, like I said, Bud at this point, mentally, he don't need, the coaches that he has around him now, he don't need them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at all, in my opinion. Doughboy said, um, uh, when I think about Bud versus Spence, I can't see Bud beating Spence. Pressure is going to be too much for Bud if he can't fight Spence in the middle or in the inside. Um, I could see Bud disrupting Arrow's pressure because remember, you know what I'm saying. When you're pressure, if you're pressuring your opponent, you're moving in a direction. You know what I mean. So you're pressuring your opponent, making them fight and go on the back foot. So if you're if you have the ability to fight off of the back foot and transition off of the back foot, then you can disrupt a pressure fighter. Now, Spence, if he puts Bud on the back foot and he tries to pressure him, you know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford can fight off of the back foot. Terence Crawford can transition, and all he has to do is turn Errol Spence and make him get off that line and reset, you know what I mean, and reestablish and shit. And all he has to do is just keep on doing that. And in the meantime, Chance Bud Crawford is going to be setting him up, putting him in one trap after another. You know what I mean? So I don't think. I mean, and matter of fact, I got a post. I just seen a post about that shit. Like Derek James, he already said like we're gonna have to take it to another level, and they are. You know what I mean? Like the same shit that Errol Spence does. He's not going to be able to do that same shit. You know what I mean? Yes, you may be able to pressure in spots, but you're going to have to do some things that you never did as far as your technique, as far as your boxing, even the way that you pressure your opponent. You're going to have to train. You're going to have to switch up and do some shit that's different. Um, Trey says, you can't tell but nothing, and that what Bomac been riding on. Like I said, I don't think it's the fact that you can't tell Bud nothing because he wouldn't be, even though I believe his talent is, I mean, he's a natural God gifted fighter. He was born to be a fighter to some degree. Because sometimes you have a lot of people who are born to be fighters and they do not fight in the ring. Being a fighter ultimately is just having that fighting, you know what I'm saying, that fighting spirit, that tenacity, that will, that toughness. So he just chose to put the gloves on it, you know what I mean, and do it professionally and become a prize fighter and get paid for it. So Bomac, like I said, man, he can't, I mean, you really can't, I mean, you can't tell a motherfucker nothing, man. But I'm telling you, the relationship between Bomac and matter of fact, all his coaches is more of a respect and a loyalty thing because they've been with Terence Crawford for so long. But I'm sure they still have input, you know what I mean? Because when you have 2 to 3 to 4 different perspectives, when you look at and you're breaking down an opponent, that insight is helpful when it comes from those different perspectives because everybody sees and views and catch different things when they're breaking down fights and looking at a, I guess, set opponent. So I mean, but really after that, I mean, that's all they got. Um, Trey says, I'm not saying Bud uncoachable. I'm saying Bomac basically been riding the coattails of Bud. Without Bud, Bomac ain't shit. Um, I mean, I agree with you, but to say that he ain't shit, I mean, you can't say that he ain't shit because I would say to a degree because he's been a coach for quite some time, so he has knowledge, he has experience. But when it comes to Bud, he is riding Bud coattails because he can't teach him. He can't teach him nothing. You know what I mean? But that knowledge that he has, that experience that he has, he needs to pour that into the next generation. You know what I mean? But who else does Bomac? You know what I mean? Who else does Bomac have? You know what I mean? Like, okay, if you want to say Keyshawn Davidson, be honest with you, the performance that Mo Hooker just put on display, that's really not a good look for Bomac. Plus, like I said, he missed weight, and I mean, he got fucked up. You know what I'm saying by Blair Cobbs. I mean, Mo Hooker, he got some shots in. Um, But ultimately, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he allowed himself to get, you know what I'm saying, outboxed by Blair the Flair Cobbs. And that was pretty much all Blair Cobbs needed to pretty much get the proverbial ball rolling and shit, you know what I mean, as far as the 147-pound division. Because if he'd have lost again, Blair Cobbs might have been done. Now the fact that he picked up that victory, that's going to help Blair Cobbs moving forward in the 147-pound division. But Mo Hooker, I don't know where his career is going to lie after that fight. But he most certainly shouldn't stay with fucking Bomac. Not at all. Not at all. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. But I got oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. But um but Conor Ben, getting back onto Conor Ben and jaronbootsennis. I don't know if that fight will ever take place, but from what I've seen from Conor Ben, so do you think Virgil beats Ben? Um, Virgil Ortiz versus Conor Ben is not only that's a good fight, but that could be. Oh shit. Shit. My bad. Nigga choking. Damn. That shit got motherfucking eye watering and shit. But all right. That'd be a great fight. Conor Ben, the pressure that he puts on Virgil Ortiz, the pressure that he puts on. I mean, that fight is like two trains colliding and shit. You know what I mean? That fight would be like two trains colliding. And Virgil Ortiz, his style, Conor Ben, his style. They don't have similarities, but that aggressive nature in both of their styles, somebody's going to get knocked out when they fight. Shit. Somebody going to get knocked out when they fight. When Conor fights, if Ben fights Ortiz Jr., somebody gets knocked out. Conor Ben has power. No, every fight ain't a knockout, but at the same time, if Virgil Ortiz catches Conor Ben, he can hurt him. But I believe if Conor Ben catches Virgil Ortiz, he can hurt him. So it'll just be a matter of who catches who first and who can deal with that contact and that power. That'll be the question. Hopefully I don't choke this time. But Conor Benn is, for what I've seen, Conor Benn, he's not only dangerous, but he reminds me of jaronbootsennis in the matter of it's going to take a high-level opponent to really show what he can do. This is Conor Benn. Conor Benn, his skill set from what I've seen, because when you have a boxer puncher, especially somebody who is aggressive, but yet skillful, and that's what I see with Conor Benn. He's aggressive, but at the same time, he is skillful. Now, Virgil Ortiz, he's on that arrow shit. I mean, he doesn't do too much, or his style doesn't change too much. Him going to the body against McKinson was somewhat of a change, but that's also basic boxing. You know what I mean? Going to the body. That's a lost art. People don't go to the body enough. And with McKinson really not having that power, shit, he only got like fucking 1 or 2 knockouts. So McKinson doesn't have power like that. So Virgil Ortiz, he could get in a position, or he can walk McKinson down and he can get on the inside and don't have to worry too much. You can protect yourself, but he doesn't have to worry too much because McKinson doesn't have power like that. So it was just pretty much a matter of time before he broke McKinson down and got him up out of there. Now, fighting somebody like Conor Benn or jaronbootsennis, that's a whole different ball game. You're not going to be able to approach that fight the same way, mentally or physically, if you're Virgil Ortiz. And Conor Benn going up against Virgil Ortiz, I think that'd be a fantastic fight. I think that'd be a fantastic fight. And whoever wins that fight should fight Boots. Whoever wins a Virgil Ortiz versus Conor Benn fight, they should segue and fight jaronbootsennis. That'd be a great catalyst fight leading up into that fight. That'd be a great catalyst because they're talking about Conor Benn fighting jaronbootsennis, and they're talking about Virgil Ortiz fighting jaronbootsennis. So if Virgil and Ben happen to fight each other before they fight Boots, the winner should fight Boots. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think that'd be a great fight. But like I said, when I went back and I was looking at the tape from Conor Benn, I mean, I seen some things in his style that can be exploited. And his footwork is good, but he does some shit in the ring. Like he has a tendency, like I said, when he throws certain shots, he has a tendency like to drop real low. You know what I mean? Which lets his opponent circle around. And then as he's coming back up, he has to use his feet and he has to turn his body. And I've seen him do that in multiple fights. And you have to be careful if you're Conor Benn, because if you do that shit fighting somebody who is smart and has quick feet, they can knock you out. Ben has these wild punches. Kind of been, I mean, from what I've seen, I ain't seen no wild punches, man. He got a nice left hook. And they say his left hook is his signature punch. He got a nice straight right hand. I don't know. I ain't seen him throw too many wide shots. And like I said, they say his left hook is his bread and butter. But for what I've seen this right hand hurt a couple of guys. That's how he got Van Heerden out of there, and he hurt Chris Algieri. But it ain't hard to hurt fucking Chris Algieri. You know what I'm saying? Chris Algieri is another one of those fucking dudes, man. Like at this point, they just collecting a check. They really are not there to do anything in the sport. You know what I mean? They are just, I mean, he's like a gatekeeper at this point. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Conor Benn, that's really not, it's a good name, but Chris Algieri was never a threat to Conor Benn. And they knew it. You know what I'm saying? They knew it. But Conor Benn versus, like I said, Virgil Ortiz, Stanionis or jaronbootsennis. Once you start looking at these names and trying to make those fights, he's going to see some competition. He's going to see, more importantly, some adversity. And once you start to try to climb that ladder, in my opinion, I believe that's very important to put these guys into a situation where they have to be able to respond to and overcome adversity. Because if you are trying to become a champion, you have to show that you have more than just a chin. Um, Trey says they not wide as hell, but he threw them a little wide. He will have to tighten that up when he go up against the top ops. Well, that's any fighter, bro. Yeah, I'm saying that's any fighter. If you're fighting a opponent who is sharp, you know what I mean. You fight an opponent who's sharp and who has good head movement and good upper body movement. You know what I mean? Because like I said, your head movement, you can slip jabs, you know what I mean? But your upper body movement, you can slip jabs, hooks, uppercuts, you know what I mean? So if you face an opponent who has those abilities and can use them both at the same time, if you throw wide punches, like Keith Thurman throws wide shots. Keith Thurman, he loads up and throws wide shots. Stanionis is another one who also throws wide shots. But see, those wide shots that they throw are a part of their fucking arsenal. Like Stanionis, you know what I mean? Like he likes to, you know what I mean? He likes to throw that left hook to the body, and sometimes he likes to double up. And then he comes with the overhand right. And when he throws that overhand right, the way that he throws it, you know what I'm saying? He throws it like at an arch, but also at a curve. And he angles that shit like come down like right on his opponent's face. So it looks like it's a wide shot, but it's his shot. You could tell that he practiced that shot. You know what I mean? So, I mean, sometimes fighters look like they throwing a wide shot, and it may be a wide shot, but that's their shot. And when they throw that shot, they throw it to the point where they can recover. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, when I was training, one of the things they said, especially as far as using your jab, is 9-10. Like you could put your jab out there at 9, but you bring it back at 10. You know what I mean? To help protect yourself. So if you put your jab out there at 9, you got to make sure you bring that shit back. It's the same thing if you throw like an overhand right or whatever. Whenever you throw a shot, you have to automatically already have that shit in your mind. You have to bring it back, you know what I mean, and reset. Get back in your guard. If you drop your hands or sloppy like that, you're gonna wind up getting caught with a counter shot and possibly getting knocked out. And when you face these top guys, trust me, that's how they think. Those are holes and openings that they look for. And Conor BENN, one of the biggest holes that I've seen for Conor BENN was, like I said, his footwork. Sometimes he turns himself out of position, and he be dropping his shit, and he be turning his body. So if you're as an opponent, all you got to do is just pretty much, you know what I'm saying, just circle around him. And when he comes back up, all you have to do is just come in, you know what I'm saying, with a hook, and automatically that's going to put Conor BENN in a defensive set. And then that would allow you to load up to the body. You know what I'm saying? You could even double up, you know what I'm saying, go to the left, go to the right, you know what I'm saying, come back with the right hook or left hook, depending upon your stance. And depending upon Conor BENN's position in the ring, you can set him up for a nice trap, you know what I mean, especially if he's in a corner. You can literally hook his ass into the corner and then go to work. So if you fight a smart fighter, they'll be able to see these certain things, and then they'll be able to set you up. And if you're not a thinker in the ring, you definitely will be fucking in trouble. And Conor BENN, he's at this point where I think that he's learning, but I don't see that mental aptitude yet. Everybody has the ability to learn. But like I said, I think I see more aggression than thinking when you start talking about Conor BENN. Now, they're going to have to be careful because, like I said, when you start talking about Boots, Bud, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Spence is even, you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean, Spence got more, he has more, he thinks more than people give him credit for. Um yeah. So um but like I said, man, like Ugas, I really want to know what the fuck is going on with Ugas, because we talk about all these welterweights, Spence, Crawford, Jaronennis, Keith Thurman, Conor Benn, Stanionis, okay, Blair Cobbs, Speedy Rashidi. Um, but what's going on with Ugas? I want to know what the fuck is going on with Ugas, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he has to be healed up by now. If he didn't sustain any real damage, which they said that he didn't at this point when he fought Errol Spence, what's going on with Ugas? Why is he on the show? Who is he possibly going to fight next moving forward? Because Ugas is, even though I think he has what 3 or 4 losses now, but Ugas is still talented enough where he's going to draw. He can draw some attention. You know what I mean? He could still face some of these up and coming top contenders in the sport as far as 147. So he'll still be able to do that. So I want to know what's going on with you know what I'm saying, with Ugas and shit. That's what I want to know. You know what I mean? But I ain't heard nothing, man. I ain't seen nothing on social media about, like I said, him fighting. Even him, you know what I'm saying, training. I haven't seen anything. But I'm curious. If y'all seen something, man, about Ugas, man, you know what I mean? Let me know. Because I believe, like I said, I believe Ugas Ennis is also another good fight. Ugas Thurman could be a good fight. You know what I mean? But the fight that I'm trying to tell you, I don't, for some reason, man, like um with jaronbootsennis, man, like I could see they'll probably wind up fighting either Stanionis, because that's the second name that they called out as far as his pop, and Steven Espinosa. But for some reason, man, like the boy Speedy Rashidi popped in my head. For some fucking strange reason, man, he popped in my head. Um, because like I said, he's also looking for that smoke from Boots too. And I think that's a fight that they could possibly make. It wouldn't be too many roadblocks making a fight like that. People know who Speedy Rashidi Ellis is. They know who he is. He has somewhat of a name. Um, he wants to fight jaronbootsennis. Jaronbootsennis don't care who he fights. So I don't think that'll be a hard fight or matchup to put on. But I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I truly believe. Oh shit. Oh shit. I just switched back to the comments and shit. I gotta catch up. Um, yeah, wow, this hell, bro. Okay, I think this is the latest one. He said, yeah, maybe he might come back and fight Thurman. I guess you're talking about and I guess you're talking about Ugas. I mean, yeah, Ugas Thurman will be a good fight. That'll be a good fight, bro. Ugas versus Thurman, that'll be a good matchup. And I think somebody gets knocked out in that fight. You know what I mean? I think somebody gets knocked out in a Thurman versus Ugas fight. And I think it could possibly go either way. Because remember, Ugas has that ability to fight on the, like, he can compact his style. And being as though Thurman is sweet to the body, I can see Ugas hurting Thurman with a body shot. I got Ugas beating Thurman. Yeah, I'm telling you. I could see with Ugas style, the way he can compact his shots, I could see him hurting Thurman to the body multiple times. Or he can just catch Thurman one good time and hurt him. And, you know what I'm saying, possibly just start unloading on him and either knock him out or the ref stopped that shit. You know what I mean? I really see that possibly happening if Ugas fights Thurman. So like I don't know why Thurman is so sweet to the fucking body and shit, you know what I mean? But I mean that's just what it is, man. Some fighters have no chin and some fighters have a chin. And when it comes to I guess the proverbial body, like some fighters, you know what I mean? Like they can take punishment and some fighters they just can't take a shot, period. And Keith Thurman is one of those guys, man. Like Keith Thurman can't take him. He can't take punishment to the body. He can't. Every time a viable opponent has attacked Keith Thurman to the body, they have hurt him. You know what I mean? When he fought Manny Pacquiao, like I said, Manny Pacquiao almost fucking dropped him and shit with a body shot. And Mario Barrios was just too small, didn't have enough on his punches in order to put Keith Thurman in that position. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons why they picked him, because he wasn't dangerous in that format. But Keith Thurman, like I said, fighting these young guys, Keith Thurman will be in trouble. He will be in trouble, especially, I'm telling y'all, man, if he fights Jaronbootsennis, I'm telling you, Boots is going to stop. Boots can stop Keith Thurman to the body, man. I mean, I see it. Being as though he could switch, like he will be, I mean, he's going to close, I mean, opening bell. I see Boots coming in, establishing range, establishing distance with his jab. Once he gets a feel for Keith Thurman's range, you know what I mean, and how he can stay on the outside of his shots, I'm telling you, man, like how Tank Davis slipped Leo Santa Cruz, you know what I'm saying, shot and hit Santa Cruz with that uppercut and knocked him out. I'm telling you, that's how somebody's going to catch Keith Thurman, you know what I'm saying? Boots will catch his ass like that to the body. You know what I mean? He's going to slip a shot. And like I said, Keith Thurman will be throwing on wild ass fucking hooks. He's going to come underneath and catch him, or he's going to slip a shot, whether it's in southpaw or orthodox. He's going to slip a shot and come right underneath and catch him. You know what I mean? Catch him right under the fucking ribs. You know what I mean? And possibly break his fucking rib. You know what I mean? Catch you right under the ribs. Bop. You know what I mean? You just go see Keith Thurman buckle, and he's either going to go down or he's going to try to retreat. And you can't retreat because I'm telling you, somebody like Boots is an excellent finisher. If he hurts you, and especially if it's time left in the round, he's going to be on Keith Thurman, man. He will be on Keith Thurman. And Manny could have took Keith Thurman out, but he kind of gave Keith Thurman time to recover when they fought. You know what I mean? But one of these young guys, shit, they're going to be on Keith Thurman ass and shit, bro. And the Ugas, if he catches Keith Thurman to the body shot like that, I believe Ugas, I think Ugas will finish Keith Thurman too. You know what I mean? I think Ugas can finish Thurman. And Ugas, Keith Thurman has said today, when I seen him in an interview, he said he will fight again this year. He said he wanted to fight in the summer, but for whatever reason, shit ain't happening. Boot stops Thurman at 4. Damn. Well, shit. It ain't hard to say that because Boots is generally getting guys up out of there by the 6th round. So if he getting people up out of there by the 6th fucking round, come on, man. It could be possible he could stop Thurman by the 4th round. Yeah, that's possible. That ain't yeah. Shit. You know what I'm saying? I can't be mad at that assessment. You know what I mean? I can't be mad at that shit at all. Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely fucking possible. You know what I mean? But hey, Boots is a fantastic talent, and it doesn't matter if Keith Thurman gives him an opportunity, he still will get to the position that he wants to be. Thurman going to go in that fight to survive. I don't know if Thurman will go into that fight to survive, but I would tell you like this, Keith Thurman will have to survive if he goes into that fight, because Boots can box, he can bang, he can do everything. And once he fills Keith Thurman out and he gets an idea of what Keith Thurman is trying to do, then he'll be able to download and formulate what he's trying to do and and I ain't gonna say what can he do, but how he has to go about, yeah, that's better. How he has to go about setting Keith Thurman up to get him up out of there. You know what I mean? So Keith Thurman, I don't see him catching Jaronbootsennis because, like I said, those shots that Keith Thurman throws, Boots is a fuck. Boots, he rolls with punches very well, man. He rolls with punches very well with his body, and he knows how to roll with punches. You know what I'm saying? With his head movement, I've seen him multiple times when an opponent throws a shot. Boots throws. I mean, he turns his head, and the shot brushes like right off his fucking beard. You know what I mean? So and they said I mean, Bosey said that that's something that they have worked on. That is something that they have trained him to do. So, and he does that shit very well. So Keith Thurman, like I said, when he throws those shots, it may look like those shots is getting close. You know what I'm saying? But Boots is just slipping them and rolling with them. And like I said, he's going to do that. I see him doing that shit and then coming underneath and catching Keith Thurman with a shot. Now, it don't matter which side because he can catch him on either side because he can fight on both sides. But I see him catching Keith Thurman, hurting Keith Thurman, and possibly getting Keith Thurman up out of there. But hypothetically, you know what? Let's just say Keith Thurman catches Jaronbootsennis. Let's say he catches Boots. And let's say he hurts Boots. Because I've never seen Jaronbootsennis hurt. Bootsennis has never lost a round. So you have to pretty much come up with these scenarios and be I guess you have to basically make believe the scenario because he's never lost a round and he's never been hurt. So hypothetically, Keith Thurman, if he hurt Jaronbootsennis, can Jaronbootsennis recover? That's why we have to fight. Excuse me. That's why we need to see him fight top tier, top quality, or as Bud Crawford said, the elite. Because the elite are not only elite in ability, they are also elite in the way that they think. You have to be an elite thinker to defeat somebody like Bud Crawford, Errol Spence, Jaronbootsennis. You know what I mean? Like somebody who's highly skilled and highly intelligent in the ring. Their IQ is just through the roof. You have to engage from not only a physical aspect and dimension, but also a mental one. And you got to put that shit together and hopefully you come out with the W. Now, Keith Thurman is a analytic fighter, you know what I mean? But Keith Thurman's skill set is different from Bud's, Errol, and Jaronbootsennis. Now, Keith Thurman had the skill set to disrupt a Danny Garcia. He had the skill set to disrupt a Sean Porter. But the top guys now, they don't have those skill sets like Danny Garcia, Sean Porter. You know what I mean? Or you seen what Pacquiao did. Pacquiao even disrupted and got with Keith Thurman. And everybody at the top, except I would probably say Errol Spence. But Errol Spence, he does cut off the ring very well, but he's not too light on his feet. But Errol, he does cut off the ring very well, and he's deceptively good as far as, you know what I mean, doing subtle angle changes that can disrupt and allow him to get shots off to his opponent. So Errol has that ability, and maybe he does that to substitute because his footwork is not as fast as some of the other guys in the division. That's what I'm saying, man. Like Beterbiev is also like that. Beterbiev doesn't have explosive footwork, but he's able to make and do subtle changes in the ring as far as turning his opponent, getting on the outside of their foot, or like I said, just turning, getting slightly off of that line to set up shots and hurt his opponent. You know what I mean? Like Errol is very good at that, and he generally starts those sequences when he attacks to the body. And when he gets guys on the ropes, it's over. It's over. And it seems like a lot of people don't talk about it, but like in my opinion, like a large part of Errol Spence's battle plan is to get his opponent on the ropes. Once Errol gets his opponents on the ropes, that's when the whole breaking down shit, that's when everything starts. When he starts getting guys on the ropes and start chopping motherfuckers down, that's when that shit starts. If you can keep Errol Spence in the middle of the ring and outbox him and turn him, you know what I mean? Like, I think that is where you'll have the most success. Like Sean Porter. Sean Porter, he kept Errol Spence moving around the ring, moving around the ring, you know what I mean? And that is how you beat Errol Spence. You can't allow him to get you, I mean, because once you're back against the wall, that's when he goes to work. So if you can keep Errol Spence turning, keep him moving within, you know what I'm saying, keep him moving within the ring, then you'll be okay. But, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, like talking about Spence and Crawford real quick, uh, Errol has been quiet. Errol has been quiet. But Bud has been quote unquote socially active. I mean, he was just going at it with fucking Blair Cobbs. You know what I mean? So Bud is still socially active, you know what I mean? So that means that Errol was fucking working. So I believe this fight is close to being announced. Every time that you see Bud, Bud looks like he's in shape. You know what I'm saying? Bud look like he is most certainly training. You know what I mean? He don't look too far from weight already. And I believe that's why Terrence Bud Crawford is popping up at events, popping up at, you know what I mean, different gyms and shit like that, because he wants to show people that physically he wants people to see that he's working. And then that'll let people know that, you know what, man, like this fight is going to happen. At this point, Keith either got to shit or get off the pot. He just in the way. I mean, that's the same thing. That's the same thing. Kind Ben said. That's the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? Kind Ben said. What?
Thurman's like, he may as well retire. He's saying he ain't fighting no crop coming through, but yeah, once the big names, obviously, I mean, listen, I'll probably say I'm one of the biggest names in the welterweight division. Definitely for an earner anyway, so the fact that you don't want to take that fight surprises me a little bit, but obviously I risk reward with me, you don't see it, right?
Ben said the same thing. He didn't necessarily say Keith Thurman was in the way, but he said he might as well fucking retire. You know what I mean? So Keith Thurman, I mean, he's going to have, I mean, in my opinion, man, like Keith Thurman's going to have to fight somebody who he's not comfortable in fighting. The fans are going to demand it, you know what I mean? And just the way that the game and the welterweight division is set up is going to put him in a position where he's going to have to fight one of these guys. So pricing yourself out of fights, nah, that's not going to keep on. That's not going to keep, especially when Spence already said he's not going to fight you. So who are you waiting around to fight? Because if you go on and move up to 154, this is Keith Thurman, then you need to stop talking about the 147-pound division. Just stop talking about it. Don't mention me fighting anybody at 147. Because if you fight Danny Garcia at 54, and let's just say he loses to Danny Garcia, now you're coming off of a fucking loss. So now if you go back down to 147, now you are in the position where you ain't gonna have no bargaining chips if you're Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? If you are Keith Thurman and you go to 154 and you lose to Danny Garcia and you drop down to 147 and try to take on one of these younger guys and you demand a large bag, this is exactly what the fans and the media is going to say to Keith Thurman. Exactly. You must have lost your damn mind, because Keith Thurman at this point is looking like, I'm telling you, man, like he's trying to set himself up for retirement. And you shouldn't be thinking about retirement if you still fucking fighting. You know what I'm saying? But that's the energy that I get from Keith Thurman. He's trying to price himself up so he can walk away from the sport and probably start commentating this shit. You know what I mean? That's what I see from Keith Thurman, because you're going to have to fight somebody difficult, in my opinion. So if you don't fight a veteran, as far as veterans go in the 147-pound division, um, Crawford, Ugas. After that, you got your Ennis, your Ortiz, your kind of Ben Standionis, and everybody, all the rest of the young guys. So what you're going to do if you are Keith Thurman? What you're going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like kind of Ben said, you know what I mean? You should just either retire or step up to the plate and fight one of these young, hungry, very capable young lions. You know what I mean? And keep, like I said, Connor Ben can give Keith Thurman a lot of problems. And Keith Thurman said he wouldn't mind going across the pond. So if you don't have if you don't have the issue fighting one of these young guys, and if you don't mind going to the UK, make the fight. If you don't want to fight Jaronbootsennis, if you don't want to, or if you can't, definitely can't fight Errol Spence, and Bud is tied up with Errol Spence. So if you don't want to fight Boots Ennis, then who's left? Ugas, Conor Ben, and I say between Ugas and Conor Ben, as far as Keith Thurman getting the bag, will probably be Conor Ben, because if he accepts that fight, and most importantly, if he accepts that fight and takes that fight in the UK, and you can factor that into your price point. Okay, I'll take the fight in the UK, but you're going to have to pay me XYZ. Now, if Keith Thurman makes that decision, now not only you going across the pond, but those UK judges are going to favor their fighter, especially if it's a close fight, especially if Conor Ben has made that fight look very competitive, and Keith Thurman has not, or wasn't looking, I guess, so impressive, then he's automatically going to walk away with that victory. I mean, automatically. So you have to factor all this shit in if you are, you know what I'm saying, Keith Thurman. Okay. See, I'm learning how this fucking this shit is starting to work now. Right, he just want one big payout, so he can leave. I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying. I mean, and I'm able to lie, man. Like as a as a fight fan, that sucks, because when you look at it from an analyst point of view, and even from a analysis point of view, I mean, that's what it looks like. It looks like Keith Thurman just wants either one big payday or maybe a couple of big paydays, and then he's going to walk away from the proverbial sport. That's what it looks like to me. You know what I mean? Because trust me, shout out, like I said, shout out to Marco, shout out to Fight Hub, because it seems like whenever Keith Thurman drops a interview recently, Marcos, he gets first dibs. So the Keith Thurman that I'm hearing now, like he's saying that he's getting ready because he may get that call. Okay, but if you get that call is going to be a Jaronbootsennis fight, or possibly a Conor Ben fight, because these two young guys have mentioned Keith Thurman's name multiple times. And if it's not going to be one of these young guys, the only veterans in the game left is Ugas. and Ugas has been quiet. Ugas has been quiet. But like I said, Ugas can beat Keith Thurman, man. Ugas can give Keith Thurman problems. Yeah, I mean, that's not an easy fight for Keith Thurman. Damn, man, I don't know why my fucking voice is fucked up. But he can't get that without fighting Boots or one of those guys. I mean, that's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? He can't get that bag without without fighting. Basically, it's about as simple as this. If Keith Thurman want to get paid, first of all, he has to stop lying to himself and pricing himself out of these fights. That's number one. Number two, he's going to have to fight one of these young, hungry lions, and they dangerous. You know what I mean? They're dangerous. It's about as simple as that. If he fights Conor Ben, because I don't think Conor Ben will trip if they try to make the fight in the U.S. I don't think that'll be a factor for Conor Ben because he wants the honor of defeating a. Because like I said, Keith Thurman's a potential Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Um, if he wants to be able to take or have a name like that on his resume. So I don't think he'll trip or he wouldn't mind coming to the United States and making that fight happen. Now, as I said, if Keith Thurman was given the opportunity to go to the UK to fight Conor Ben, I know he's going to try to get a couple dollars to go to the UK and fight Conor Ben. And Eddie Hearn and the Zone have enough money to get that shit to Keith Thurman. Question is, will they? Now, from what I understand, like they try to reach out to Keith Thurman already, but it's possible that he priced himself out of the Conor Ben fight also. So you're pricing yourself out of the Conor Ben fight. You're pricing yourself out of the Jaronbootsennis fight. Who are you holding out for? It can't be Errol Spence. Who are you holding out for? You know what I'm saying? Like you got away with that Mario Barrios fight. You know what I mean? And you can't do that shit twice. If you're Keith Thurman, you can't do that shit twice. So um I don't know though, man. You know what I'm saying? Like what do y'all think is gonna you know what I'm saying happen with Keith Thurman? Because from what I've seen from Keith Thurman, it does not look like he's trying to fight, even though he said, you know what I mean, you gotta teach these young guys a lesson. I ain't no gatekeeper, all that. Like I said, I can't I wish I got the regular version, man, so I can't put that post up. I wish I could put that post up when Keith Thurman was talking about how these young guys supposedly view Keith Thurman like being a gatekeeper and all that. And Keith Thurman said he's not the gatekeeper. I'm gonna have to show these young guys, teach them a lesson and all that bullshit. Look, talk is cheap. These young guys, they know and understand the sport of boxing, you know what I mean, how this shit is. So yes, they can call you out, but it makes no sense bad mouthing a Keith Thurman because that doesn't I mean that don't do anything for their careers. And it doesn't do anything for them trying to secure a fight, you know what I'm saying, with you to better their career. So they're going to say what they're going to say, but at the end of the day, Keith Thurman said it himself. I'm all about big fights and I'm all about contracts. Okay, so excuse me, Thurman versus Spence or Thurman versus Crawford. That's not the two biggest fights in a 147-pound division. You know what I mean? Thurman versus Ennis is a huge fight. Thurman versus Ben is a big fight. Even Thurman versus Stanionis, you know what I mean, is a big fight. Thurman versus Ugas is a big fight. So Keith Thurman has some options at 147 as far as big fights. But the question is, you have to fucking take the fight. Stop pricing yourself out of these fucking fights. You want $10 million to fight Jaronbootsennis. I mean, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Boots hasn't even had a fucking a title yet. You know what I mean? And you pricing yourself at the excuse me, your price point for the fight as if Jaron Boots Ennis is a champion. You know what I'm saying? Boots not a champion yet. And once he becomes the belt, you're not going to be the A side in that fight. And that's what um, um, Keith Thurman, that's his problem. He thinks that he's the A side. And in my opinion, with him and Boots, even though Thurman is a veteran, has a name, I don't consider Keith Thurman the A side versus Jaron Ennis. He's just not. You know what I mean? Yes, Keith Thurman has the name. Yes, he has that. I can't take that away from Keith Thurman. But skill-wise, Keith Thurman is not the A side versus jaronbootsennis by far. By far. And that's how I look at that shit. So he can't okay, that was the last one. So but like I said, boxeadores, he's not going to he's not going to lie. And when Ballsy talks to the media, he's not going to say a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? He damn near keeps it keeps it as 100 as you know what I'm saying, he can be. And like I said, the latest comment, you know what I mean, that he just made when he was interviewed, like he literally said, like I said, when he talked to Steven Espinoza, that Keith Thurman is trying to price, or he did price himself out of that fight, because they came to Keith Thurman first. They didn't come to Stanionis first. They came to Keith Thurman first. So that just tells you the caliber of fight that they are looking for. Because if they'd have went to Stanionis first, they probably, I mean, that fight probably would have been made already. So that just tells me not only did they went to Keith Thurman first, but they really want to make that fight with Keith Thurman. Because if Boots is able to secure a fight with Keith Thurman and win that fight, that's the perfect setup for him to face whoever secures all the titles after Bud and Spence fight. Because right now, Errol Spence is most certainly a wanted man, and Bud is a wanted. Well, he's a wanted man because now Virgil Ortiz, is I believe his mandatory for the WBO. But Errol Spence, he has somebody on his neck for the IBF title, which is jaronbootsennis. WBC, they elevated Thurman, but he's not going to get a shot. So he's probably going to get knocked off the pedestal. And for the WBO, it's I believe it's Virgil Ortiz for the WBO also. You know what I mean? So it's like they have to figure out, this is Spencer Crawford, what they're going to do. You know what I mean? Because I mean, these guys, Virgil Ortiz, I don't see, he says he wants those fights, but he knows that he has a high probability of losing. So out of all those mandatories, the one that I see that could possibly happen, because they really want that fight, is jaronbootsennis. So he's not going to price himself out of a fight with Spence. He's not going to say, okay, you give me some bullshit and I'll fight him. No. As long as you give Boo something fair, because he already said it himself, it ain't about the fucking money. It's about the fight. Because once he become a champion, once Jaron, I'm talking about the super champion, once he becomes a champion, it's over. It is over for the welterweight division. And he already said it. Who's ever under me, my mandatories, whatever, I'm going to fight everybody. And that's how you're supposed to do. You fight everybody, you knock everybody off, so nobody can threaten your reign at the top. You know what I mean? Anybody that says or step up and say they want to fight you, you knock them off. You know what I mean? And that is what they should be doing. It should not be this hard to make fights at the top level. Because once you're at the top level, whoever is right there as far as mandatories, or whoever the number 2 guy or the number 3 guy, if you are not fighting these guys, then what are you doing? Period. What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't price yourself out of these fights. See, that's the problem, or the curse of being an older champion, because Spence and Crawford are not old, but they're older champions. Like I said, they're in their 30s. Who knows how many years they want to be in the game? Errol has already said, I got kids, so I don't want to be in this motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, risking my life, being punch drunk. I can't think straight. I can't talk straight. You know what I mean? The motherfucker already survived a fucking car crash, you know what I'm saying, and eye surgery. Well, especially the car crash, because that really could have took him up out of here. That's number one. And it really could have ended his career. But the only thing detrimental that he walked away from that accident sustaining really was his mouth. When he lost his teeth and shit, he had to get his mouth. We had to get a new set of choppers. But I mean, no broken bones, you know what I'm saying? No concussions, you know what I'm saying? No severe contusions, you know what I mean? No bleeding on the brain, none of that shit. You know what I mean? Just bumps and bruises. And you know what I mean? His jaw got fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? You spend 10, 20 grand at the fucking dentist and shit, now your grill is fixed. He still can't find a good mouthpiece to save his life, but that's another story. But other than that, that's Errol Spence's biggest, you know, as far as the car crash, physically. So he walked away from that, you know what I'm saying? He was blessed to walk away from that. So he really looks at it like he looks at boxing like, who knows? Errol Spence could be looking at boxing like, you know what? I don't know how long I'm gonna be in the fucking game. You know what I mean? Maybe we have to start talking about, is Errol Spence looking for his next opportunity? Well, no, I'm not gonna say opportunity. But is Errol Spence looking at his longevity in boxing? How long will he remain in the sport? How long will he remain in the sport? He said he wants to go up to 54, but his homeboy, whatever, Charlo, he's the undisputed champion at 54. So does he want to fight for a title when he goes to 54? Or he just wants to move up because he's tired of cutting down weight at 147? Because Errol is another one of those big welterweights, just like jaronbootsennis. But it's not hard for Boots to make weight because Boots is disciplined. Boots generally doesn't blow up. He's always in the fucking gym. So it's not hard for Boots to make weight and to stay at 47. And once he becomes undisputed at 47, he's going up to 154. And once he does this thing up 154, then he's going to go up to 60. And he's going to do it comfortably. That's the beautiful part about Boots. Once he moves up, all his transitions are going to be comfortable because of his frame. Now, because of Errol Spence's age, he's not going to end his career possibly at 168. You know what I mean? He's going to be too fucking old. Errol's probably going to end his career most likely possibly at 154. You know what I mean? It's stretching it. It's a long shot. Maybe 160. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? But he most certainly will move up to 154 because that's what he said. He said that he wants to do. He wants to move up to 54. And arguably, him and Charlo said, man, if the money is there, if the bag is big enough, yeah, although that's my brother, yeah, although that's my boy, but yeah, if the money is right, I'll fight him, which to me is bullshit. You know what I mean? It's always about the money and shit. So fuck all that. That's my brother shit. You know what I mean? Like, if the money, you just said if the money is there, then I'll fight this man. So, you know what I mean? He really ain't your fucking brother. If you end of the day, you'll fight his ass and shit for a fucking bag. Spence said he will fight. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Spence said he'll fight Charlo. You know what I mean? Because they was, you know what I mean, talking that, you know what I mean, Lions only and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is my brother. Like, we wouldn't fight. Then they switched it up and said, you know what I mean, with the money, yeah, I think it was Jamel Charlo. I don't know if it was Jamel. It was one of them motherfuckers who said it, but they said it though. You know what I mean? They said, if the money is right, it was like, yeah, I'll fight. You know what I'm saying? I'll fight him. Meaning, we're talking about Errol Spence. Like, I'll fight him. So fuck all that. That's my brother and all that kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You just need to just say, okay, if the money is right, I'll fight him, and just leave it at that. So, and they are going to make, trust me, Al Heyman and company are going to make it. That's a huge fight because of the narrative, not only because of the fight, but also because of the narratives surrounding the fight. You know what I mean? These are quote unquote best of friends, brothers, whatever. You know what I mean? And they stepping into the ring and they're putting it all on the line. You know what I'm saying? Championship titles are on the line. Friendships are on the line. You know what I mean? They're going to make that shit. They're going to spin it to sound, and you know what I'm saying, beautifully while they build the fight up. You know what I'm saying? But that'll be a huge fight. at 54 for Errol Spence to face Charlo. But Bud also wants that Charlo fight. So who gets it first? Because Bud can fuck around and fight Errol Spence at 47, and he can fuck around and fight Errol Spence at 54. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't talk about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Bud could fuck around and fight Errol, excuse me, yeah, fight Errol at 47. And he could fuck around and move up to 54 and fight Errol again. So if Bud moves up to 54 and faces Charlo before Errol does and takes Charlo's undisputed you know what I'm saying, titles, whatever, and then Bud, excuse me, Errol moves up to 54 and tries to redeem his brother's loss and he fight Bud, you know what I mean, for undisputed at 54, you know what I'm saying? He could fight Bud for undisputed at 47 and 54. So any way that you look at the storyline of Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, these guys are destined to fight each other, whether it's at 47 or whether it's at 54. So that's why, I mean, they need to get, you know what I'm saying, they need to get the, I guess, the dollars and cents out the way because the money is going to be there now and for fights to come. Because this is the first initial fight these guys are trying to make. And if they are smart businessmen, they're going to have a rematch clause in their initial contract. And these guys are two explosive competitors, and they're big enough, and they're still young enough that they could squeeze 3 fights at 147. So if Errol win one, excuse me, I'll just say if Errol win one, okay, it's a rematch clause. Bud takes the rematch. He beats Errol in a rematch. Now they fight a third time for all the marbles. And let's just say Bud, he wins the rematch, he wins the trilogy, becomes the undisputed welterweight champion at 47. But being as though they fought already, you know what I'm saying? Now at this point, let's just say Bud is, let's just say he's 35, 36 or whatever. Now he's really ready to relinquish the title and move up to 54 and try to win the title at 54 or titles at 54 before he retires. And he's going to give those belts, you know what I mean? Let the young guys fight for those belts at 47. Because we all know Jaronbootsennis is next up. So all this shit is just inevitable. You know what I mean? So that's why I said Errol, Bud fight each other 3 times. You know what I mean? So I mean that's a lot of money they can make in 3 fights. That's a lot of money they can make in 3 fights. Then they move up to 54, possibly fight again at 54 for a title or titles. Who knows? Secure another bag. You know what I mean? Then after that, retire. You know what I'm saying? They can both retire under 40. You know what I mean? With you know what I'm saying? With have securing a lot of money, or they would have made a lot of money in the sport. And Errol Spence, he's already wearing his promoter hat, so now he can walk away from the sport and focus on being a promoter. And he said that he don't want to get a lot of guys right now. He has Frank Martin. This is Errol Spence, and he's a phenomenal young talent. So Errol Spence, he already has a great young fighter. So once he decides to be a promoter full time, he already has a star in the making, you know what I mean, that has a pretty much a bright career in front of him, you know what I mean? So he can focus on that, possibly pick up another fighter, maybe, you know what I'm saying, within a different division, and just focus on, you know what I'm saying, maybe 2 or 3 fighters and just chill, you know what I mean? Make money off of them, you know what I mean? Save his money. He has the farm, he has the ranch and shit. So Errol Spence at that point wouldn't need anything else, you know what I mean? He wouldn't need nothing else. He's accomplished everything. He'll be going down in the Hall of Fame. Now he's a businessman, so he'll be able to chill, retreat, spend some time with the family, and you know what I mean, raise his fucking chickens and shit, you know what I mean, and be a happy fucking camper. Terence Bud Crawford, same shit. You know what I mean? He'll be able to sit there, chill, spend time with all his kids, go fishing, you know what I mean? Enjoy life on the boat, you know what I mean? Because both of these dudes at this point in their heart, both of these guys are simple. They just want to do what they got to do in boxing, finish, their time in the sport of boxing and just go relax and go chill. You can already tell their energy, the way they talk, how they live outside of boxing right now. That is ultimately how these guys are trying to set up, you know what I mean, for their career and their life after boxing. You know what I mean? Errol's already doing it. Bud is already doing it. So they are in the position now where they are trying to, you know what I mean, pretty much maximize the bag because there is no 10-year plan for Spence and for Bud Crawford. I would say it's more like a possible 5-year or maybe a little bit less than 5-year plan. Because like I said, they face each other 3 times at 47. They do a trilogy at 47, and they both move up to 54. I could see them fighting possibly again once at 54. And then after that, you know what I mean? These guys are going to walk off into the sunset, man. You know what I mean? The Jaronbootsennis and the rest of these guys will establish the pecking order at 147. And then some of the new guys coming into the division at 54 will reestablish themselves because Danny Garcia, he also wants a shot at being a champion at 54, and he may get it. He just may get that shot. But Danny Garcia still has to um, have 1 or 2 solid fights at 54 to secure a shot with Charlo at 54. Now he wants it to be that Keith Thurman fight, but the way Keith Thurman acting all scary will fight any fucking body. Who knows if that shit, you know what I'm saying, will happen. I believe that Danny Garcia and Tony Harrison, that would be a great fight at 54. If he can fight Tony Harrison, then possibly Lubin or something like that. I don't even want to mention Fundora, you know what I mean? Because I think Fundora, he will, I mean, I hate to say it, man. I really do. That's the, you know what I'm saying? That's the Philly in me, you know what I mean? But I think Fundora would destroy, you know what I mean, Danny Garcia, man. I think Fundora will beat the hell out of Danny Garcia. I hate to say it, but when you look at skill set, I think what Fundora can do, and Danny Garcia, his skill set, the way what he will do in the ring, I believe that Fundora will give Danny Garcia a lot of problems, man, at 54. And he could that probably will be a fight where Danny Garcia will retire after that fight. Because if Fundora does to Danny Garcia what he did to Lubin, he will retire Danny Garcia at 54. You know what I mean? So Danny Garcia, I mean, he has a better chance, in my opinion, of fighting Lubin or maybe Tony Harrison, you know what I'm saying? But Fundora, that young kid at 54, he should be the last one on Danny Garcia's, you know what I'm saying, hit list. He should stay away from Fundora because Fundora, in my opinion, he is the future of, you know what I'm saying, of 54. Once Charlo loses, relinquishes the titles or whatever, once Fundora gets a title, he's going to start racking them bitches up at 54. I'm telling y'all, mark my words. Once Fundora becomes a champion at 54, it's going to be over. Okay. But some people, they see that shit, some people don't. But I'm telling y'all, man, like Fundora, this young kid is not only talented, but I'm telling you, man, like his skill set, and like I said, he continued to improve, and just with his height and his reach. And although it may look like he lanky as shit, you know what I'm saying? Like this young kid has power. Those long fucking arms, they generate a lot of power, a lot of torque. That's how he be tearing these guys up on the inside, man. So like he's going to beat up a lot of these guys at 54, man. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Lubin, you know what I mean? Hope he rested up. Most certainly would like to see Lubin back in the ring with a Danny Garcia or you know what I'm saying, or something like that. And at 54. But like I said, kind of BENN versus jaronbootsennis though. I don't know, man. I hope that, like I said, I hope that fight happens. You know what I mean? Kind of BENN has went on record. He gave Boots his props. You know what I mean? Said he's a great fighter. So he has respect for him, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean, Boots fucks with everybody, but at the same time, he want to fight everybody. He don't care who the opponent is. He doesn't get too bent up with, you know what I'm saying, with the politics. He just wants to fight the best fights possible because he wants to put himself in a position to become a champion. That's all he wants. You know what I mean? That's all he wants. And that's not a bad path to be on. Whoever they put in front of you, you willing to knock them down. And that's how it should be, man. You know what I mean? It don't matter who you put in front of me. You just have the mindset, I have to beat him, or I have to knock Boots. He thinks about knockouts. Now, just even though they don't look for the knockouts, but still, ain't nobody went past 6 rounds with jaronbootsennis. So he doesn't say that, but at the same time, he just wants, you know what I'm saying, to face and knock everybody out and move on to the next one. You know what I mean? But jaronbootsennis, man, like they ain't gonna be. I mean, they ain't gonna be able to. I mean, they ain't gonna be able to avoid him. You know what I mean? Because he's climbing that proverbial ladder. He's climbing that ladder, climbing that ladder. So the top guys, even the veterans, man, they're not going to be able to keep on putting themselves in position where they have or where they can duck them. You know what I'm saying? So it's either if you want to stay in this division, you will have to fight me, and that's pretty much you know what I'm saying, how I was looking. So Keith Thurman talking that 10 million shit, man, fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? But in my opinion, if they can't get Keith Thurman and they still trying to get a veteran, they need to get Ugas, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what the fuck Ugas is doing, but they they need to work on that Ugas fight. Because Keith Thurman, he's saying like he on some, you know what I'm saying? He trying to price himself out the fucking fight. I don't know why. You know what I mean? We talk about big fights, you talking about contracts. Jaronennis is a big fight. Steven Espinosa is going to fucking pay you. You are going to get a solid pay date by fighting this young guy. Why not take it? You trying to get 10 million like you fighting for a championship. Or like you fighting, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't think you'll get 10 million fighting Bud or fucking fighting Spence. So why would you ask for 10 million to fight fucking jaronbootsennis? Every time I think about that shit, man, the shit boggles my motherfucking mind. You know what I mean? And then you see an interview and then Keith Thurman talking about, you know what I'm saying, he wants to fight or he don't mind fighting these young guys, but he keep contradicting himself. Over the past 2 weeks, the interviews that he put out there is that he wants to fight these young guys, whoever. He just want to fight great fights. Send me the contract. But you keep ducking these fucking guys. You know what I mean? You are not signing the contracts. So what are you talking about? Excuse me, if you're Keith Thurman, what are you talking about? So, like I said, I like Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman still has a solid skill set that fans want to see. And he does have a chance if he faces anybody in the top 5. You have to give Keith Thurman a fighting chance. But if you keep on pricing yourself out of these fucking fights, I mean, in my opinion, you cheating the fans. You know what I mean? You cheating the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? So I understand you trying to get that bag and trying to secure your retirement plan, but at the same time, at the end of the day, remember, you're a fighter. And if you are not willing to fight, then like kind of Ben said, man, you should just retire because you have a lot of young guys who are up and coming, who are highly skilled, who just want your spot. They just want your spot. And they're willing to fight you to get it. But if you're not willing to fight them, then you should just, step to the side, man, and walk off into the sunset, man. Keith Thurman, you already live in fucking Florida. You know what I mean? So shit, you ain't got to move to Florida and retire. Shit, you already live here. You know what I mean? So just walk away from the sport and put your feet up, enjoy your time with your wife and your daughter, and just chill for a minute and just commentate. You know what I mean? Because Keith Thurman, most certainly, when he walks away from the sport of boxing, he will be talking shit on somebody's podcast, or he will be talking shit commentating for a PBC or Showtime or Top Rank or some fucking body. You know what I mean? Don't shit. Maybe surprise everybody and go over there and start fucking with Eddiehearn and DAZN and shit. You know what I mean? Um, hold on, y'all. Check this out real quick.
Become the oldest fighter to win a world welterweight title. Amazing accomplishment that I never thought I would accomplish. But know that God is good all the time. That's why I gave all glory to God.
But real shit though, man. You know what I'm saying? Keith Thurman. I don't know though, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm done. I'm done talking about fucking about Keith Thurman. Cause this motherfucker ain't gonna fight no goddamn body. You know what I'm saying? He do need to you know what I'm saying? He do need to move on and shit. But kind of been after I did my research, man, you know what I'm saying, leading up to this podcast, talking about or researching kind of been, I do believe that he is or he will be in the top five. You know what I'm saying? Once Terence Crawford and Errol Spence figure out what the fuck they doing, you know what I mean? Like his skill set, and I do believe that Conor Ben is a draw, even though he's a British fighter. He's over there in the UK. I believe he has fought over here already, and besides that, I believe that he's talented enough to um, I guess, be a big seller as far as welterweights. Conor Ben can be a big ticket seller. He just has to keep on doing, you know, I mean, he has to keep on doing what he's doing, but he's also getting to the point where he has to fight somebody with a name. He's going to have to knock off somebody with a name in order to propel him to the next level. And he's also looking for that Keith Thurman, you know what I'm saying, payday. But if you can't get Keith Thurman, because apparently he ain't trying to fight these young guys, then the best young guys are going to have to fight each other. So that means Virgil Ortiz and Jaronbootsennis, or Virgil Ortiz and Conor Ben, or Conor Ben and Jaronbootsennis, or Jaronbootsennis and Virgil Ortiz. Like these guys are going to have to start fighting each other. And I've been said that Boots and Virgil should have been for it. They should have been for it because in the rankings, they're number two, arguably number two and three. So Virgil and Boots should have been for it already. And depending upon Virgil just fought McKenton and Jaronbootsennis, whoever he faces next, after if he secures the victory, then I believe that that's the fight that they should make next. Virgil, Ortiz versus Ennis, or Ennis versus Ortiz. And I think that'd be a great young fight. That'd be a great, I think that'd be a great ticket, both at this stage and point of their careers. People and fans know who they are. So I believe that they will sell. I don't know if that fight will be pay-per-view, but I believe that if that fight is not pay-per-view worthy, it is most certainly, and I think it could be a great co-main. I don't know on what card, but that could be a great, that'd be a great co-main on somebody's main card. Virgil Ortiz versus Jaronennis. That'd be a great co-main. Great co-main. And we'll finally see who's the better fighter. Jaronbootsennis said a long time ago he wouldn't mind having that fight. Virgil Ortiz Sr., he said that they're not afraid of Jaronbootsennis, that they believe they can beat Jaronbootsennis and company. Okay. Then hopefully, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they shouldn't have had no problem with making that motherfucking fight in the near future. So possibly in 2023, we'll be able to see a Ennis versus Ortiz fight, possibly. But all right, man. Because so what y'all I mean, what y'all so what do you guys think about these fights? Or for any matter, any other you know what I'm saying, fights moving forward. because I thought Joshua versus Usyk too. I thought that was going to be the next live, but then once like I said, once I started doing my homework on Conor Ben and Jaronbootsennis, I said, man, and then I heard Keith Thurman. I made the comments that he made about these guys. I said, hold up, man. Absolutely, shit, we got to talk about. I said, we got to talk about this because Keith Thurman was talking shit about Conor Ben, saying he didn't know who he was and he had to Google Conor Ben and all this. And I said, oh man, here we go. He doing the same shit he did with Jaron Bootsennis. He claimed that he didn't know who Boots was. Then he had to do his research. Then after he quote unquote did his research and he started giving Jaron Bootsennis, I mean, oh yeah, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. Excuse me, same thing with Conor Ben. He said he didn't know who he was. He had to Google it. I mean, his father, Nigel Ben, is a you know what I'm saying, is a name in the sport of boxing. And with Keith Thurman being a quote unquote student of the game and of the sport of boxing, I know you know who his father is. So if you know who his father is, come on, man, you know who his son is. So Keith Thurman was just doing a lot of, you know, he was talking a lot of shit. And then Conor Ben came out and said what he said about Keith Thurman, meaning that if he's not going to fight me or anybody valuable at that point, then guess what, man? Just retire. You know what I mean? And at this point, Keith Thurman, he really should, if he's not going to fight these young guys, because the veterans are dying off, especially at the top in the 147-pound division. So the only really comparable competition left are these young lions. And if you are Keith Thurman and you're not willing to step into the ring and give these guys a shot, and if you went on record and said that you're not a gatekeeper, you're a threat even to these young guys, so why not step up and fight them? Don't press yourself out of these fights. Step into the ring and prove to everybody that Keith One Time Thurman is still Keith One Time Thurman. You know what I mean? If you're not going to do that, if you're not going to go to 154 and fight Danny Swift Garcia, then stay at 147 and fight these young lions. I mean, the shit is simple, man. The shit is really at this point, as far as decision making, is really checkers. It ain't fucking chess. You know what I mean? If you're not going to stay at fucking 147 and fight Jaronennis or Conor Ben, who else you got? Ugas. If that fight isn't there, you're not going to fight Spence. He ain't fucking with you. He's not going to give you a shot. And Crawford, he's going to be tied up for the who knows foreseeable future with Spence. So what you gonna do? Go to 154? Danny Garcia said he wouldn't mind, you know what I mean, because you took his O. So he wants that rematch. But if you're gonna fuck around and then price yourself up out of that or talk some bullshit and not face Danny Garcia, then what else you want to do if you're Keith Thurman? But on that note, man, you know what I'm saying? Do you got, I mean, what do you guys, what interests or fights would you guys like to talk about next? Do y'all want to talk about the heavyweights or what do y'all want to talk about? You know what I'm saying? What do y'all want to talk about next? I don't know if Trey, I don't know if Trey's still in here, Doughboy. I mean, who y'all want to talk about next? And I can start writing down, you know what I'm saying, what y'all want to talk about for the next live. If not, I already have my own ideas. I most certainly do want to talk about the heavyweights because the heavyweights is starting to heat back up. Tyson Fury is starting to talk shit. He's supposed to be retired, but Tyson Fury is talking about fighting Derek Chisora. You know what I mean? He's supposed to be retired. Now you all of a sudden you want to fight Derek Chisora. And Chisora, he wants to fight Deontay Wilder. So the heavyweight division is starting to heat back up. So I most certainly want to talk about the heavyweights next. Oh, what the fuck is that? Yeah, once we hit that too, man, we go, you know what I'm saying? We going to wrap it up. So on that note, man,